to the second hour of the mid-morning show with me, Julie Ali. We're going to be talking now to Development Manager at SADAG. She is Fatima Seedat. She has a post-grad degree in psychology and has been working in mental health sector for over 10 years, alhamdulillah. Her passion is working within communities and raising mental health issues for young people, and I guess the community at large, to understand that if we understand and support people with mental health issues, we will have a healthy community with very, very healthy relationships. But let's get talking about men's mental health. Fatima Seedat, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam and shukran for having us on air today.
Absolutely wonderful having you here. We're going to be focusing on men and perhaps their aversion to the subject regarding mental health. But let's start right at the beginning. And I do know you've been involved with SADAG for quite a while. Tell us a little bit about them and the amazing work that they do here in South Africa.
So, SADAG is a mental health NGO and advocacy group. So, we create a lot of awareness around mental health well being. We do a lot of awareness campaigns, and also we run a 24-hour helpline service. So, we run the only suicide crisis helpline in South Africa. In addition to that, we have a mental health helpline, we have substance abuse helpline, and numerous others. We also have a WhatsApp helpline, which some people find it easier to chat initially and then speak to someone once they feel more comfortable. So we allow that to happen. And with all of this, we also do community outreach programs. So currently we are doing a school outreach program where we go from school to school talking about suicide and suicide prevention and depression and mental health. And also we have two community outreach programs, projects, where we have a counseling container. And at the counseling container, we provide free mental health services and support.
Alhamdulillah. But for today's program, obviously we want to focus on toxic masculinity, or just the issue around men and how they approach mental health issues. And when I say toxic masculinity, and I know it's a kind of a new phrase that's been doing the rounds for a while. How real is that? And does that tie directly with just this issue around men and men being so much more angrier these days because things are just too hot to handle? We live in a very, very pressurized environment, society. People expect more and more, not only from men, but from women and young people as well. How does this impact on men especially, and how can they reach out and just get the type of help they can to deal better with their everyday situations, their everyday life situations?
I think let's start from when we have our young boys. So when we have young boys, if they fall, what do we say? We say, just stand up. It's okay. Let's carry on. And when we see a girl and she falls, what happens? We coddle them. We give them more comfort. We support them better. And from a very young age, boys are taught that boys don't have feelings. Boys don't have emotion. They're not supposed to get hurt. And I think over the years, society has started changing. And you can see that when even our boys are growing up at the moment, that they feel more supported. We do sort of give them more attention than we used to before. What happens is when a child is brought up like that, when they get older and they become men, they find it more difficult to share their emotions, their feelings. They need, and because of societal norms, they need to be the strong ones, the ones that are there to support, provide, be the keeper of the house. And it becomes very stressful on men in total. And they feel as if they do share emotions, or they do feel share anything that they are feeling, they are going to be seen as weak, or they're not worthy enough, or and I think over time, if we just normalize the conversation around men and mental health, like your show, which is so important, we will start seeing that change in society.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We are to blame. I mean, we often hear that phrase, men don't cry, boys don't cry. You're a big boy now. You shouldn't cry. I'll kiss it better for you and you're going to be okay. And that kissing it better and telling them to stop crying doesn't do it, does it? And they grow up thinking that they're not supported. So let's look at the young men now and grown men, men in relationships. What do you believe are the most common mental health challenges that they're facing today? And I think somewhere along in this conversation, time permitting, you spoke earlier on about suicide prevention, but what brings them to that point? And then there's also the issue of substance abuse, which every second family in the country or globally is suffering with that situation. I don't think there's a family or every second family that can't say we haven't been touched by that.
Mhm. It's so interesting because when you look at mental health, we say 1 in 5 people will experience some sort of mental health issue in their lifespan. And from that, it's both men and women. When we look at stats, we're looking at, women speak more, they reach out more for help, and this comes from societal norms again. So we see that there will be a more higher percentage when it comes to diagnosis around women and mental health in comparison to men. But I think over like post COVID, we've seen a lot more people reaching out for help. A lot more people are speaking more openly about their mental health and well-being and how important it is. And because these conversations are being normalized, we're seeing more people, men specifically, reaching out for help, which is a good thing. When we look at common mental illnesses that are experienced amongst men, I think one of them has to be depression and anxiety as well. So, depression and anxiety disorders usually go hand in hand, but they link to issues like unemployment, financial struggles, relationship issues, and trauma. Again, if your substance abuse is undiagnosed, untreated, then when your mental health is being undiagnosed, untreated, it could lead to serious implications, like for instance your substance abuse use disorders, suicidal ideation. In a lot of times as well, men don't display their mental health, their symptoms a lot like women, where instead of showing that they are feeling sad or they are being impacted somehow or the other, they often show like high anger levels, irritability, agitation, and also impulse controls issues. They do experience that. And when I speak about impulse control, it leads to substance use disorder, gender-based violence, a lot of outbursts, those type of things. When we also, because we live in a country where there's high crime rates and a lot of traumatic events, we are seeing also men that come in with post-traumatic stress disorder. So there's a lot that is going on. It's not very different from every other person that experiences a mental health issue. We can have it in men and women, and mental health does not discriminate. So we just need to be more wary that men speak less, and that is why we often see stats and we see women have the higher percentages, but it's just because women are more likely to go and get help in comparison to men.
Okay, let's go for an ad break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion with Fatima Seedat. She is the developmental manager at SADAG. We're talking mental health specifically in men, so do stay with us.
Penny Appeal's Education First campaign helps children to get access to quality education.
I'm 14 years old. When I grow up, I'd like to be a scientist.
We believe every child belongs at school,
And we want education, a better education.
learning and dreaming their way to a better future. With your help, we can provide classrooms, desks, stationery packs, and school shoes. Help make these dreams a reality. Visit www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
You South African, of course. You anxious about the future. We've got you covered. Build on your wealth portfolio with Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange. Visit us at 151 Stephen Dlamini Road, Musgrave, Durban, or call us on 031 202 4700 for more information. Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Dad, these Frymax chips are so tasty.
Wow, that really takes me back. My dad bought me a Frymax chips every day after school. They were my favorite when I was your age as well. Quality is at the very heart of what we do, and that's why we ensure that every Frymax packet is filled with the beautiful goodness and flavor-packed taste that you've come to expect from us since 1982. Frymax, from generation to generation.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, bakkies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Welcome back. I'm talking with Fatima Seedat. She is the developmental manager at SADAG. And of course, we're talking mental health, particularly mental health issues with men. Welcome back, Fatima. And let's talk about the other thing that seems to put men off from going for counseling or just to seek support when they're struggling with whatever it is that they're struggling with. And that is stigma. And when we look at relationships, not everybody has a happily ever after. And when you have problems in a relationship, women are able to cry and talk about it to their moms, their sisters, their friends, etc. Men don't have that outlet, and they're also afraid of perhaps being labeled as a sissy. So there is that stigma attached to it, isn't there?
Most definitely. There's such a stigma attached to men and mental health, and we are trying our best to break down that stigma by having conversations like these and also creating more awareness. I think what's important is when we are at home, when we are having those conversations with our family members, we need to be speaking more openly about mental health, taking care of your mental health. When you see that one of your loved ones are experiencing some sort of signs or symptoms, or there's some change in their behavior or the way they are, we need to ask them and reach out to them and just openly have this conversation with them. And when I speak about signs and symptoms, we speak about behavioral patterns, which is one of the biggest telltale signs which can tell you whether someone is going through something difficult. And that could be, a change in their mood, change in the way they sleep, their eating patterns, the way they take care of themselves. Sometimes even, you find that your loved one used to take care of the way they look, how they dress up, etc. And now all of a sudden they're not taking care of themselves at all. That's the one part of it. The second part is their functionality levels change. So before they could maybe complete all their tasks, they are able to work more effectively, they enjoy their workplace and they enjoy doing what they do. But now all of a sudden, everything changes where they struggle to complete tasks. They are feeling sluggish all the time. They are having difficulty going to work. When we see those signs and symptoms, speak to them about it. I think if we sit back and we watch our family members, our men family members going through this, and we do not speak up and ask if they're okay, we are failing ourselves as well. So we encourage everyone that when you see a change in behavioral patterns, ask the person, how are they? What is going on? And try and create that safe space where a man can share how they think and how they are feeling at the moment.
Fatima, particularly in our community, everything that you've outlined seems to be the answer of how we go about supporting the men in our lives. But it's easier said than done because they've been socialized so differently to us. And I'm kind of wondering, how do we even start those conversations? I'm thinking of our brothers, our sons, our husbands, perhaps even our fathers. We can see something is wrong, but because of our socialized patterns as well, we're not sure what and how we should broach the subject.
I think that's such a valid point, especially in our communities. What we need to do is, yes, sometimes it is more difficult to reach out and ask the person, how are you? What is happening? You can start off with such a simple conversation and then bring up your concerns. So, how are you? What's like, I see that, things are not looking the same as what they used to. What's happening? You don't seem the same. You can bring in the conversation slowly but surely. However, if you do feel like it's very difficult to speak to your loved one, there's always the one person that they do feel comfortable with, whether it's a friend or community leader or Molana. You can then reach out to them and ask them for assistance and reaching out to the person. Sometimes, yes, it might offend the loved one, but if they are comfortable around the person that actually you asked to reach out to them, it makes things easier. So even your cousin, if it's a son, the father might have a good relationship. As a mother, you have an amazing relationship with your child as well. So it depends who the person is comfortable with to bring up this important conversation. But I think we need to bring up these conversations and also start speaking about it even when there is nothing happening. So on your supper tables, during, when you get together, speaking about emotions, feelings, normalizing those different words becomes a norm in your family. It becomes better for men to then reach out and get the help they need.
Okay. The dangers of ignoring all of those signs. You, as a family member, can sense and can see something's not right here. But because you don't know how, or because of the nature of that relationship, you just can't break down those walls of silence. If we don't address them, if we don't intervene, if we don't get the necessary help, what can that lead to? What is the dangers of ignoring those situations?
Mm-hmm. So it does leaving mental illness undiagnosed and untreated has immense amount of repercussions. Like I mentioned earlier, your functionality levels start decreasing, which means when you could maybe do 10 tasks in a day at work, you're now struggling with those tasks. So when when mental illness is left untreated, that's the first thing that happens to you. It has an impact on your day-to-day life. The second thing that happens thereafter, especially if depression is prolonged, is that you may experience some sort of suicidal ideation. So it starts with suicidal ideation, and then it could lead up to an actual attempt of suicide. So it's an extreme case, but yes, it does happen. And a lot of times we then reflect after losing a loved one, saying that, oh, well, you know what, unfortunately, we've seen all these signs. How did we not confront them or speak to them about it? Um, and you feel extremely guilty afterwards. So yes, those signs and symptoms are important to notice, and then to bring to light to the person that you are supporting or you are trying to help. With that as well, you do find that often with men again, they often don't show the same sort of emotions like a woman. So, for instance, we become more in tune with our feelings, whereas they try and suppress those feelings. And that's when we can see sometimes they do, the undiagnosed, untreated mental illness can lead to substance use disorder, which is another whole spectrum of impacts on not only the person but the family members as well.
Not to forget the extended family as well is involved when you have those type of situations. Now, let's understand it is Youth Month, and I think a very strong message needs to go out to our youth regarding experimentation with drugs, substances, and all other risky behaviors. I have no doubt in my mind that SADAG does have a program that's targeting youth this month. What would it be?
So, SADAG, we do have constant youth programs. We go out into schools, we go into the communities, we go everywhere trying to create that awareness, and also to make sure that we get our most underlying messages out there, which is you are not alone, that you're not going to go through this by yourself. There are people out there that actually care for you and that are willing to support you. In addition to that, we also have another key message, which is it's okay not to feel okay sometimes. Not feeling okay for a few days is not okay as well. So what we're trying to do is, yes, we can not feel okay sometimes, but if it does linger on for a longer period, reach out and get the help. With our school programs, we go out into schools, we speak about all the issues that youth go through. So our talks are not very static. It's very interactive. So we get the learners to share with us what exactly are they going through. What are the main issues that they're experiencing at the moment, and then we unpack what they are and how they can get help and reach out for more assistance. We also have other programs like our Facebook Fridays, where we are having a Facebook Live. I know it is during Salah time, but they are recorded and they are on our platform after that as well. So join in, watch those Facebook Lives. We learn so much from it. Me, on a personal basis, I watch it and I learn so much from it as well. So we have those conversations that are going to be created throughout this month. We are looking to launch also a very exciting project on before June the 16th. So let's see how best we can assist our youth going forward this year.
Inshallah, let's wrap up now, Fatima. And for men listening in today and struggling with their issues, whatever they may be, how can they reach out to SADAG? And of course, in comes that all important question, confidentiality. Can you just outline that for us, please?
Sure. So SADAG is open 24 hours every single day of the year. So we don't close for no public holidays or on weekends or anything of that sort. Our toll-free helpline is 0800 567 567 or 0800 456 789. Our website has a wealth of information. We actually have videos on men, mental health, and stigma. So it's really good to watch some of these conversations that we have. And also our WhatsApp helpline is available on the website as well. When it comes to confidentiality, we do practice very high ethical standards at our organization. You can call in, you can remain anonymous, you don't have to share your name, but we do appreciate if you do share your number so we can do a follow-up if there is a need for it. And also, you're not seeing the counselor isn't seeing you, so they don't know who you are. Also, and also, not every single time when you call, you're going to get the same person. So
Fatima,
confidentiality one.
can I
Yes.
interrupt you there?
Huh.
Regarding the not necessarily getting the same counselor, with a lot of people, they form a relationship with the counselor, they've shared their story, and they want
Huh.
that continuity.
Yes.
And how do you then reassure the client that it's okay, I know your story, and then there might come the question, how confidential is the information I've shared with you? So
Mhm.
how does that all play out? And what about people who feel, I'm sorry, I spoke to Fatima the previous time, I've spoken to her 6 times previously, and I refuse to speak to anyone else but Fatima. That's a sticky situation. How do you actually circumvent it?
That is quite sticky, but we do acknowledge that some people feel more comfortable with the person they spoke to. So you are allowed to ask for that person that you spoke to. Our shifts do change and people do move around. We do have records. So yes, it is very confidential, and the counselors that work at our organization only have access to it. So if we need to have some sort of background of your story, we do have some sort of idea through the files. But we if you do feel like you want to speak to the same counselor again, you're more than welcome to ask for them.
And that's where we leave it. We're wrapping up. Any final important points that you need to share with the viewers before we leave you?
Auntie Julie, I think the one thing I'd love to end off with is just saying that, sometimes it's okay not to feel okay, but remember there are people out there that actually care for you and that you are not alone in what you're going through. There's always someone to support you. So reach out, get the help, get the information. I think also knowledge is power. So educating yourself about depression, anxiety, etc is important. So the more we understand, the more we normalize the mental illness, which means the better we are able to manage it.
I
Shukran.
love that. I absolutely love that. It's okay not to feel okay. That is so classic. Fatima Seedat, absolute pleasure talking with you today. And I just think SADAG's an amazing organization. Continue doing what you guys are doing because you're definitely touching lives, you're changing lives, and you are saving lives. I love you with one and all. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Shukran so much. Wassalam.
It is 12:31 a.m. and we're coming up to our final interview of the morning, and rather it's afternoon time now, isn't it? We are going to be talking kickboxing and fitness wisdom. Please stay with us.